want delays, obviously.
Kill FISA was the order that came from former President Donald Trump from his Truth Social account Wednesday, as a fierce debate in Congress rages on with how to proceed with Section 702.
President Trump used the intel from this program to kill terrorists, and we have to kill the abuses so that we can do both of those things and continue, and that's what this bill does.
You see, that guy is such a traitor, Mike Johnson. This was the guy that proclaimed himself as being, this upstanding, God-fearing Christian man with Christian values, him and his wife and all this, and there's going to be some major changes. We're going to get stuff done with the border and all this old crap. And see, I was one to never follow politics prior to being a victim of organized stalking and harassment, which I don't like to call myself victim anymore. I like to say survivor of it. But I was never one to indulge in politics. But when you go through this and you try to find as many avenues as you can to try to put this to an end, to get this stuff to stop, I mean, you are led to reaching out to your, your constituents and state representatives and people in Congress and stuff like that, which I have done, as I'm sure many of you have as well. But it's to give them an opportunity to at least acknowledge that this is happening and to find the means to fix it or get rid of it. Personally, I think they should just get rid of it. But this guy right here, he is such a traitor. He ended up signing off on one of the bills to send more money to Ukraine, and that money was supposed to have been used for the borders. I mean, all of this is just one big fucking, it's a clown show, basically. But now the Republican Party, they're having talks of trying to oust him from being speaker. Maybe Jim Jordan would have been a better fit. Jim Jordan wholeheartedly talked about his rebuke of the FISA 702. But then again, not to put your trust in no man or hybrid or whatever you want to say that these people are. Because at the end of the day, politicians do lie, just like corrupt law enforcement lies, intelligence agencies lie. They're all in the same pot.
This bill does.
Trump charged that FISA was used and abused to spy on his campaign, although it was a different section. 702 of FISA is meant to be used as a tool to collect intel on foreigners overseas, but loopholes allow agencies like the FBI to search the data for info on Americans, a major red flag for privacy advocates.
They wind up collecting literally billions of communications, both from bad actors, but also completely innocent people, including an awful lot of Americans.
There's a lot of
See, I've been noticing a large influx of getting calls from foreign numbers. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this, but getting communications from people that are foreigners, that have foreign names. And as you know, you may initially not be on a watch list, right? But let's just say you get like an email, a random email from someone, or even a phone call, and you answer that phone call or even respond to a text. That little act right there is all they need to put you on the watch list, to say that you are communicating with a person of interest who has been deemed a possible terror suspect. That's all they need.
Of data that companies are collecting on gun owners, and the federal government is able to go out and buy. They don't need a warrant to look at that data currently, and that's totally unacceptable.
The debate has paired up some strange bipartisan bedfellows.
If you are a gun owner and you are a survivor of organized stalking and harassment, they will your targeting would probably be greater than that of other targeted individuals. I do believe that there are different levels of targeting. It's all the same tactics, but I do believe that there are some people who get targeted harder. I've experienced that with being a gun owner in the past. I currently don't own any firearms. I lost my firearms in a boating accident in Seminole, Florida. But yeah, if you are a gun owner, they will especially try to pull your number to try to get you to be like the next mass shooter or to commit some crime having to do with firearms. So you got to watch out for that and be careful with that.
In Congress, Republican hardliners Andy Biggs and Matt Gaetz put out a joint statement with progressive Democrats Jerry Nadler and Pramila Jayapal earlier this year, calling for a vote on requiring warrants to use 702. House Speaker Mike Johnson is trying to assure his members, and maybe the former president, that the tool is a vital part of national security and that the House can pass reforms to end abuses of power.
These reforms would actually kill the abuses that allowed President Trump's campaign to be spied on.
FISA is set to expire on April 19th, and Speaker Johnson warned his members that if the House did nothing, the Senate would likely look to pass an extension with no reforms. For the National Desk in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
So there's already been some kind of vote within the Republican Party, and the majority voted to get rid of it, to get rid of FISA 702. So I guess now, if neither side can come to an agreement as to whether or not this should be reformed or we should get rid of it, then ultimately it may be left up to the House to decide. And basically what they're going to do is just kick the can further down the road and extend it and keep extending it. And that's pretty much the trend that we see. We can only hope they get rid of this shit. It's surprising to me that they don't talk about the other intelligence agencies, the CIA, NSA, that are involved in this as well. They always talk about the DOJ, FBI, as if they're the only agencies involved. So it'll be real interesting to see if they do end this program. Will that also end the programs that the CIA and the NSA has running as well? We'll see.
Today, we're voting on a resolution that will bring forward reauthorization of a program that's been abused for decades, the FISA 702 surveillance program. Americans deserve the protections that are enshrined in the Constitution. Nothing less should pass this House.
Hardline House Republicans tanked a procedural rule vote that would begin debate on reauthorizing Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, effectively leaving the House at a standstill just 9 days before the key surveillance law expires. Congress has remained deeply divided on whether to require FBI agents to obtain warrants when using Section 702 to search data belonging to U.S. persons.
Go get a warrant.
Republican leaders hope to advance the FISA reform, but the measure failed after 19 Republicans joined all Democrats in tanking the rule.
Mike Johnson does not have the support of the conference. I don't think it's fair for the FBI to be able to spy on the American people.
The vote, which failed 193 to 228, is the latest blow to Speaker Mike Johnson's leadership, which is already on the rocks as he faces several legislative challenges and a threat to remove him from his top position.
Mike Johnson doesn't have the trust of the conference, and that's become very clear.
Advancing a rule is a procedural move that is typically voted on along party lines and rarely fails on the House floor. However, House Republicans have weaponized the procedure several times over the last year, voting to stall action on the floor whenever they disagree with GOP leadership. Former President Donald Trump came out in opposition to the FISA proposal. Republican hardliners tanked 3 rule votes under former House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. The FISA failed vote marks the 4th under Johnson. The failed vote also puts lawmakers in a time crunch, as the foreign surveillance bill is scheduled to expire on April 19th, giving Congress just over a week to pass some sort of extension. Although lawmakers largely agree the bill must be renewed, they disagree on what reforms should be made.
So the hope in getting rid of the FISA 702 program is that if that program is sunsetted, then our rights will be restored, right? Because if you're on a watch list, a terror watch list, you don't have any rights. I think there's a clause in there that says something to the effect of, you can kill a terrorist. So that's where all this experimentation comes in. Well, let's not kill him. Let's do something else with him. That's where you got the CIA that comes in, and scientists and all these other black ops organizations and situations like that. They come in and test their microwave energy weapons, their DEW weapons, their poisons that they lace all over the place for the targeted individual to touch, to incur some sort of sickness, or to test to see what the effects are to that targeted individual and what it does to them over time. I mean, there's a plethora of horrible things that they do aside from just watching a target and syncing up with the target and gang stalking and mobbing. There's a whole lot more that goes with this program. So the hope is, if they get rid of the program, our rights are restored and we're not deemed terrorists. So we're in a situation where we can be regular citizens again. There's always hope. I'm not, once again, I always say that I'm not saying this shit is going to end. I made videos months back about the Judiciary Committee hearings, and everyone was pretty hopeful that something would happen, and look at what they did. So who's to say that the same thing's not going to happen this time? So today is what, the 10th, April the 10th? So the 19th is supposed to be when it sunsets. So we'll see if everyone just decides to just let it sunset and just discontinue the program, or if the House is going to go ahead and put in another extension since nobody can come to a decision. So that's all I got for now. Short and sweet.